Hello everybody, it's Andrew Hutchings here. As usual, not a licensed physician, not giving medical advice, just consolidating medical information, putting it all in one place along with my opinion. And I noticed that More Plates, More Dates has been making a lot of videos about psychedelics, so I figured, it'd be nice if I could be on his YouTube, but I'm not a big YouTube person, even though I have lots of knowledge on this stuff. I don't have the YouTube following, and also nobody knows I have this knowledge. Except for people who do know. But people on YouTube don't know. So this video, just trying to make something to relate psychedelics to bodybuilding. Using LSD during a steroid cycle. Why would you do that? Should you do that? No, of course you shouldn't. You shouldn't take any drugs ever, but say you were doing a cycle of tren or deca, and it causes a lot of prolactin release. Maybe you've heard of cabergoline, however you pronounce it, or slang name or whatever for it, but it's actually very similar to LSD. It's an ergoloid. Ergo, because it's from the ergot fungus that grows on like wheat plants. I'm not a plant expert, but the plants that look like they make cereal. That fungus makes these molecules that are in a group called ergoloids, and they are very strong dopamine agonists, and also some of them are very strong serotonin, broad spectrum, different parts of the receptors and different serotonin subtype receptor agonists. And the fungus is very deadly because when you get just this mixture of the ergoloids, you get lots of vasoconstriction, no blood flow, not good, body dies. However, LSD is like taking those ergoloids and chemically modifying them so that you don't get a lot of the vasoconstriction and you get a lot of the serotonin, the serotogenic properties. So, yeah, you get a psychedelic trip without losing your legs. But how does that relate to bodybuilding? Well, it's not optimal because, as I just explained, LSD is an ergoloid with a more serotogenic profile rather than a dopaminergic or adrenergic profile. Ideally, you would have a really strong dopamine agonist to counteract the prolactin, but say you don't have cabergoline yet. And if you never talk with other people, who knows how you're supposed to say it. But yeah, if you don't have cabergoline, if you don't have your normal ergoloids, your caber ergoloid, you could use LSD in microdoses to work as a dopamine agonist and block the prolactin. That way you don't get gynecomastia, and coming off your cycle, that way you don't get negative feedback, shutting down your testicles. So yes, if you don't have any post-psychotherapy medications and you got a sheet of acid for some reason, it could help a bit to take just little doses of that for a few weeks. But I'm not a licensed physician, so don't listen to me, and I would never dare give medical advice. If you've got ideas for other videos, type them in the comments. Hit a like and a subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it can help me out. I wish that I had started YouTube years ago, especially when I was more into certain things. Back when I was in high school, I was practically standing on the lunch tables, preaching to people about things. If only I had done it on the internet instead of standing on the lunch tables. But yeah, people gathered around. Not everything I said I agree with now, but it was pretty good stuff. I was only like 15 at the time, so I couldn't be right about everything. It still was good advice to other 15, 16, 17-year-olds. Not advice, but information. with some advice. Yeah, but internet's the way to go. Who knows, maybe I'll be a big YouTube person someday. But yeah, if you got ideas for more videos, leave them in the comments. I have a lot of knowledge about a lot of things that just because I don't talk about it doesn't mean I don't know about it or have experience with it or something. Yeah, as for that, like Connor Murphy and Psychosis, I think it's just Psychosis. If anything, I would say probably he's using something like meth, but probably it would be the MAO inhibitors and his ayahuasca. Personally, I wouldn't want to use ayahuasca. Like, I never saw the reason for that. Like, why take an MAO inhibitor and DMT instead of just taking a molecule? I mean, it's just a different approach, because normally you just chemically modify the DMT so it can't be broken down by MAO, but you could also just block the MAO and get the actual DMT to bind in there. It's just more straightforward to... I mean, I guess you could argue that it's more straightforward to block the MAO, but... yeah, for whatever reason, I never saw ayahuasca as a... yeah, I just don't think it's good to block your monoamine oxidase. Better just to selectively introduce a chemical with a certain known profile, because when you inhibit your monoamine oxidase, that's across the board. I mean, unless it's a selective MAO inhibitor, and there are some of those. But it's not able to keep things under check in your brain, and it could cause psychosis, like similar to being on meth. Because you'd get your serotonin running wild, your dopamine running wild, everything. And other trace amines. It would not be good. I would not recommend taking random or large doses of MAOs, especially broad spectrum. I don't know which one he's taking exactly. But yeah, it's not smart. Even if you're not prone to psycho problems, if you're on strong MAOs all the time, you're probably going to develop some issues. Now, when you come off of them, you'll probably go back to normal, but maybe you were a little schizo or something and it sticks with you. But most people, it is just temporary. I mean, I have seen people go full-on crazy. And then when it wears off, it's like they don't even remember it. As for people actually having side effects when they're not on it, I've only witnessed that when people like use psychedelics like once a week or even more, like every four days or something. And it's just crazy. You're just frying your brain. You're desensitizing those receptors so much, the drugs aren't even going to work very good. But people did that, and it's not like I'm the god that controls what people do, so I'm not going to stop them. Yeah, that's not a good idea either, to take psychedelics every 4 days. They end up burnt out and kind of stupid. I mean, not as bad as the people that abuse MDMA and stuff, but still, you don't want to take psychedelics every 4 days or something. But yeah, people who just take psychedelics occasionally, it's probably not going to change you much. People that think psychedelics are going to be like change your whole life and everything, either are kids who just don't have a lot of life experience and stuff, or you're just not knowledgeable on the thing, or you're delusional, or you're just... The bottom line is psychedelics aren't going to completely change you in all likelihood. It's very similar to as if you just went on a trip to Africa or something. Having that experience may very well change you. It probably will change you a little bit, just like any experience will. But is it going to completely change you? Probably not. How many people, if you go to a room of 100 people, you think you're going to send to Africa? And let's just say it's just some average trip. I don't know, because maybe they could have some amazing, bizarre, life-changing trip. But just say a random, I mean, any trip to Africa would be amazing because it's amazing nature. But say they just go to Africa and for a week, like not a long time, just a week, and they see the nature and they're breathtaking and everything. They come back, yeah, they're more appreciative for a while, but they're gonna go back to how they were before in all likelihood. Just like if they take psychedelics, same thing. They'll be a little more appreciative for a little while, but then you're gonna go right back to how you were before the psychedelics. And here's a very interesting thing. Anybody who says, oh, psychedelics, they're gonna open your mind, change all this, and blah, blah, blah. You go, so what have you learned from psychedelics? Maybe they'll tell you a whole bunch of stuff, and then you go, well, how did that change your life? Usually there's no answer there, because usually there's not actually much learned. I'm not saying psychedelics are pointless, but people really, really exaggerate the benefits. And I think it's because they genuinely believe that they are benefiting more than they really are. They think that it feels very profound, so they think that it was profound just because it feels profound. But the reality is that like nothing changed. Their life is exactly the same as it was 10 minutes before they did it. They're going to go about their life exactly as if they'd never taken it. Maybe for a day they're going to act a little different, be more appreciative when they see the sun outside. But in general, it's not changing anything. Now, I definitely think that you could be researching stuff and use them to alter your perception, alter the way you're thinking about something, and be able to overcome a problem that you're working on in your head. But in terms of like causing a personal shift in who you are, no, that's not going to happen in all likelihood. It may, just like if somebody goes to Africa or some other place, they may happen to just be completely changed. But like, you wouldn't expect your dad to go to the grocery store and come back a completely different person. So don't expect somebody to take a tab of acid or ayahuasca and come back a different person. Because calling it a trip is very accurate. It's a trip. And you're going to come back and probably be the same for the most part. Hope you like this video. I got to think of what to title it now because I kind of went on two different topics. Yeah, check out my Instagram, natural_true_fitness. You can hire me for training, advice, consultations, plans, etc. Same thing with diet and supplements, but not medical advice because that would be illegal and I don't want legal trouble.